Hello everyone and welcome back to the Nut House. Today I'm going to make a country meal that we eat a lot here in our house. We're going to roast some chickens, make some green beans, cream corn, and some cornbread and mashed potatoes. So let me take you along and show you how I do this. So I have 2 chickens here and I'm going to get it out of the bag. We're going to take the innards, I guess is what you would call it, out. We're going to go and rinse it, pat it dry, and then we'll start seasoning them up. Now we're going to start seasoning up our chickens, and I have a head of garlic. I'm going to cut that in half and put each half into the back cavity of the chicken. And you can do a whole head of garlic if you would like, but I want to fit other things in there and the cavities are not huge. I also freeze my lemons when I get them from the store. I have zested those and I have made some homemade lemon extract by zesting those, and then I put them in the freezer, and I'm going to put a lemon in each cavity of the chicken as well. We're going to salt and pepper it, put a little olive oil on top, and I think I've added some seasoned salt as well. And I like to cook this in a low oven, like a 325-degree oven, for several hours. That way it is just fall off the bone tender. Now we're going to get started on our cornbread, and I have a cast iron skillet that I'm going to put some lard in, and I'm going to put this in the oven. I like to start it in a cold oven and then put my temperature to 450 degrees. That way I get a nice crispy layer. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started. Now I'm going to make a thin cornbread today, so I'm going to use 1 cup of cornmeal, and then I realized that I do not have any milk, so we're going to have to improvise. So I'm going to add some bacon grease and some sour cream, 2 eggs, and some water, and believe it or not, it turned out great. Sometimes as a homemaker, we have to think outside the box and do things that we wouldn't normally do to save money. Now, I'm planning on going to the grocery store the very next day, but I did not want to make an extra trip going to the store to get milk. And so this just shows you to try something different and see how it works out. It might be the best cornbread or the best dish you ever tried. Now we're going to do some mashed potatoes in the Instant Pot. Now on this day I had my son peel a bunch of potatoes and we made way too many, but we get to eat them the rest of the week, so nothing goes to waste. I'm just going to chop these up and get them in the Instant Pot, and I like to cook mine on high pressure for 12 minutes and then do a quick release, and then I add in some milk if I have it, and butter, also mayonnaise. I know that sounds really crazy, but we always put mayonnaise in our mashed creamed potatoes. Also, a quick tip here, make sure that you salt your potatoes at this stage, because it's really hard to get enough salt after you've cooked the potatoes. So even if you're boiling this on the stove, make sure you add a good amount of salt, because you want to flavor those potatoes and not have to add the salt afterwards. So now I'm going to get my cornbread in the oven. The skillet is pulled out, it is nice and hot, and I'm going to add the cornbread mix that I made into the pan. And I want you to watch how the oil and the cornbread, when I put it in the pan, it sizzles around the edges, and that's making a good crispy crust for me. That's what I want to see when I want really crispy, delicious cornbread. Now we're going to make some fresh creamed corn. Now I'm going to add some butter. This is about a half a stick of butter, and we grew some Silver Queen corn in our garden for 2023, and that's what I'm going to cook. I'm going to use 2 packs of that. It's a sweet corn, so it has lots of good flavor. So I'm going to let this butter melt on the stove, and then we'll add in our sweet corn. And we're going to just stir it around and let it kind of warm up. And I do add some salt and a tablespoon of sugar just to bring out the sweetness of the corn. Now we're going to start our green beans, and I have my cast iron Dutch oven out, and I'm going to add a tablespoon or so of bacon grease to the pan. And then I had some onions left over from another meal in my refrigerator, so I decided to use all of those in the green beans. And these are home canned green beans. I usually grow enough green beans and can them from my garden so that I really never buy green beans. Canned green beans from the store don't taste anything like homemade canned green beans. They are far superior, and you should just give it a try if you haven't tried any before. They are delicious. I'm going to saute this onion and this bacon grease, add a little salt, pepper, garlic powder, and a little bit of seasoned salt, and we're going to let these kind of soften a little bit before I add the green beans in. So back to the creamed corn, I'm going to add in some heavy cream into the skillet so I can make cream corn. Now if I didn't have any heavy cream, I could use some milk or even a milk and cornstarch slurry where you add cold milk into a bowl with a tablespoon or so of cornstarch, and it just acts as a thickener. But I really like the taste of the pure corn and the cream without the cornstarch, so that's the way that I did it today. So I just wanted to mention that the green beans are cooking really slow, and I want the liquid to reduce quite a bit, but they're already cooked through, so if you were in a big hurry, you could really just heat them through and eat them. And another quick tip for you is always taste your food and make sure that it's seasoned properly. The last thing you want is a dish that has no flavor at all because you didn't season it. And that's it. Dinner is ready to eat, and it was delicious. If you are enjoying these videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, leave us a comment down below. We would love to hear from you.